Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be carrying on with this page from Hanna karlzon. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. So first I'm going to go in with 099, which was our darker shade for the mushroom, and I'm going to just start to fill in these little bits under here, which is all sort of in between the petals and all the different sort of like little grassy type bits, because all of this under here would be a bit darker. So I thought we'll go ahead and get this filled in, and then that'll be the mushroom base completed. So I'm just going to go ahead and use normal pressure and just fill this all in, all the little bits that are missing. Okay guys, next we're going to swap to 118. This is like a really light green colour, and what I'm going to do is just fill in the very tops of these, which I am assuming is like grass. So I'm going to fill in just the very top section of these so that this is like the lightest colour green, and then we'll use some darker colours to go further down. So I just wanted to ask you guys as well, because I haven't heard any sort of updates on Hanna karlzon on how she's getting on or anything. So if any of you guys know any sort of updates on her, let me know in the comments down below. I haven't seen anything on Instagram, but whether I've missed it, because I don't go on Instagram every day. So if you guys know anything, let me know. Next I'm going to go in with 045, which is a little bit of a darker green. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this into the middle section here. So I'll go over the lighter colour that we've just done ever so slightly, and then just bring this colour down a little bit so it's sort of like in the middle, just darkening up in the middle a little bit. So we'll do the same for all of these. I just posted an Amazon haul on my channel to show you guys sort of like all the new books and stuff that I got, and I bought some Black Widow pencils. I tried them out and I'm not really a big fan of them, to be honest. I didn't really like the way that they blended. Whether it's just because they're different pencils to what I'm used to, I'm not sure, but they didn't really blend very well for me. And the one of the like green colours kept leaving brown on my picture. So instead of coming out green, it was coming out brown, but like in little stripes. So I wasn't very happy with that. So yeah, so far, I'm not impressed with them. So I'm glad that I only bought a little set, because if I'd have spent a lot of money and got like a bigger set, I think I would have been very disappointed. Okay, so next we're going to go in with our darker shade, which is 082, and we're going to fill in the bottoms of these and then drag the colour up into the middle colour. So this is quite a darker colour. So you just want to use light pressure when you bring it up over the other green to try and help it blend together. And I'm not doing it in like a straight line, so I'm just sort of going up and down so that you get sort of random little lines within there. And we don't get such a straight line then of the blend. But yeah, you guys will have to let me know if you've got the Black Widow pencils. I know a lot of people do like them, but does anyone else find problems with them bringing different colours out and being hard to blend? Or is it just me? It's probably just me. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in with 045 and I'm just going to go over the blend just so that it helps it blend together a little bit easier. And this will just bring a little bit of this colour over the darker shade as well. So I'm not doing a lot, I'm just putting a little bit on just to help it all blend together. And I missed this one here, so I'll go ahead and fill this one in with the darker colour. And then just go over where it blends together. Okay, so for these mushrooms, I want to make them red so that they match like the ladybug and stuff at the top of the page. So I'm going to go in with 106 as our base colour. So this is like a pinky red almost. And I'm going to do a base coat on these mushrooms. So I'll just use light pressure and just go ahead and fill these in and try and avoid all the little dots on them because I want to leave them white. So it's like a red and white spotted mushroom. Next, going in with 009, we're going to start to add some shade to these. So the first thing that I'm going to do is darken up the underneath because this would be the darkest parts. And then I think I'm going to leave the lighter patch on this sort of top section here. So I'll go ahead and darken up under here. And I'll probably take it to about there. So I'm just using light pressure here to sort of outline where we're going to take the darker colour to. And then I'll go ahead and fill this bit in with the darker red. Then I'm just going to go back in with 106 and I'm just going to use light pressure again, but just go over this to make sure that there's no sort of white gaps in there. Then I'm going to take the white 032 and I'm going to go over where we left the lighter colour. So this will just bring this together and make it look a little bit lighter as well, so that we've really got like the shine coming through. Then I'm going to go in with 020 and I'm just going to go ahead and put this over the red underneath just to really darken that up a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and use normal pressure and just take this over the top of the red. and it's just going to darken it up slightly. Okay, so going back in with 009, which is our darkest shade, I'm going to again sort of outline where I want the light bit to be. So I think we'll do the light bit to this section here. So I'll go ahead and fill in this bottom section now. Then I'm just going to go back in with 106 and again just make sure that I haven't missed any areas, and just make sure everything's got a little bit of this colour on. Otherwise it won't blend out with the white pencil. So go back in with the white, and then I'm just going to go over where we left the lighter colour again and just blend this all together. Next, taking 093, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on the actual stalks of the mushrooms. So I'm just going to use light pressure again and just fill these in. Then going back in with 020, which is a little bit darker, I'm going to go ahead and add some shade to these. So I'm going to shade right underneath here where they meet the top of the mushroom, because that would be darker. And then I'm just going to drag this down the edge and fill in here where it would be in shade from the grass. So all this bottom bit I'm going to do with a bit more pressure and really darken that up. And then I'm just going to lift the pressure as we come up. And again, more pressure at the top here because that would be darker. So we'll do the same for this one. So we'll go ahead and add some darkness at the top. And we'll bring it down this side. And then just around where the grass is, lift the pressure. And then just fill this bottom bit in. Then we're going to go back in with 093 and just go ahead and use normal pressure to fill in this little space here that we've left where the light's catching. And you can take this over the darker brown as well, and it'll just help it to blend it all together nicely. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the flower. So I'm going to go in with 016 and I'm going to use this to darken up these sort of sections here where the petals meet the middle of the flower. So what I'm going to do is just use normal pressure down here and then just sort of lift the pressure as you come away, so it'll be easier to blend it into the next colour. So you should see like a bit of a gradient effect where it's sort of darker and then it gets lighter towards the middle. So I'll go ahead and do the same for all of these petals. And then going in with 014, we're going to go ahead and add the darker colour to these petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over where we've left the lighter colour with just light pressure, just so that that blends together a little bit better, and then fill in the edges with normal pressure. So that we get a nice dark colour on the edges. And then you've got like your light pressure in the middle there. So I'll do the same for all of these. Then going back in with 0.16, we're just going to go ahead and go over that just to blend it all together. So I'll just use normal pressure and just take this right up and over onto the purple. And this should just blend everything together nicely so that we've got no sort of harsh lines or transitions. So I'll do the same for all of these. Okay, so next going in with 0.91, we're going to go ahead and fill in this middle section here. And then I'm going to fill in the little dots as well. Then taking 0.20, I'm just going to do a light base coat on this bit here. So I'm just using light pressure to do this, just to give it a little bit of a brown tinge. Then I'm going to go back over that with 0.91 and blend it all together. So you can just use normal pressure here and just blend the brown and the orange together. Then I'm going to go in with 0.23, which is a bit of a darker brown. And I'm just going to sort of join these lines here. So where she's put the little lines coming out of the middle, we're just going to join them up just to sort of separate these little sections. And I'm also going to use this to just darken up the very centre, so around the middle of the flower. Okay, so next we're going to go in with 0.65 and we're going to make a start on this little lantern. So I'm going to use 0.65 to give it like a little bit of a metallic-y looking colour. So I'm just going to go ahead with light pressure and just go over this little base that it's got. And then we'll do its little top and bottom. Next, going in with 0.60, which is a bit of a darker shade of grey, we're going to start to add some shade to this. So I'm going to start by sort of going along here and darkening up these outside edges. And then just add in a little bit more shadow from where the top would be in shadow. So we'll do the same here. I'm just going to darken up the outer edges and along the top line. This one will darken up here because the light would be on that bit, so that bit would be lighter. We'll do the same for this one. Here I'm just going to darken up the side edges and leave the light colour in the middle, and then I'm going to do the same here, so just add a little bit of shade to these edges. Okay, and then for this little curly bit here, this bit here would be darker from where the hoop is sat on it, so we'll add a bit of shade there, and then we'll go ahead and shade under here where it joins to the plate. And I think we'll go ahead and follow this round just to add a bit more shade to that, and then we'll darken up along this edge on the bottom, and we'll add a bit of shade just to this edge here, and then we'll use the darker colour to fill in the little hoops or the chain. And going back in with 099, we're going to fill in the inside of this bit as the darker purple, because this would be in a little bit of shade. Then going back in with 112, which was the lighter colour that we used for the mushroom, I'm going to go ahead and do a really light coat inside here so it looks like it's see-through and you can see the mushroom coming through. And then taking 014, which is what we used for the flowers, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of darkness there just to make it look like the flower continues round. And we'll just add a tiny little bit on this bit here. Next, taking 091, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little candle. And its little flame. And I'm just going to go around the flame with this colour, take it over the top of the purple. Then taking 092, which is a little bit lighter than the orange that we just used, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little bits where the candle's melted and it's sort of dripping over the candle, because that's normally a little bit lighter. Then I'm just going to go in with a white gel pen and I'm going to go around the edges where the glass would be. So I've chosen a gel pen because you can get a little bit more of a precise line. Sometimes the Poscas are a little bit too big. And I'm going to go over the little black lines that she's put in there, almost like reflections. And then to make it look like it is really glass, what I'm going to do is just do a line straight across the top and take it over the candle, and then it'll look like the glass is sort of reflecting. Okay guys, so next I want to do this little ladybug here, the little tiny one. So I'll zoom you in. Okay, and she's so small, so we're going to have to do very minimal highlighting and shading. So I'm going to go in with 106, which is the lightest colour red that we used on the big one. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in this top half of her with the lighter colour red, because if the light was coming from the top, that would be where the lighter colour was. And then I'll just take a little bit of this onto that side. Then I'm going to go in with 009 and I'm going to add the darker red to her. So again, she's quite small, so I'm going to go around her little eyes. Try not to go over the lines. And then fill in the rest of her body. I don't know why I'm calling it a her. I have no idea whether it is a boy or a girl, but today she is a girl. Then we're going to go in with 028, which is a black colour, and we're going to go ahead and fill in her spots. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill these in. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in between her eyes with this black. Then taking 023, which is quite a dark brown colour, we're going to go ahead and fill in her legs and her antennas. So again, I'm just using normal pressure for this. Then going in with 045, I'm going to add a little bit of green to her eyes. So I'm just going to do a little dot in there of green. And then we'll take 023, the dark brown colour, just to fill in these little eyelids that she's got. Then going in with a white gel pen, I'm going to add a little highlight to the eyes. Oh, hold on, we missed a step. First we need to go in with the black 028 and add a pupil. That might help. And then I'm going to add the highlight with the white Posca pen, so that she's got a little bit of a glow in her eyes. Just going to make this bigger because it hasn't come out the way that I wanted it to. Now I'm just going to take a normal biro pen and I'm going to go ahead and add a little dark dot onto the white Posca, just to try and make them look a little bit more like eyes. Probably should have waited till this dried first. I think that's as good as it's going to get going. Oh, it's a good job it's a small ladybug and not a big one. Okay, so next I'm going to work on this leaf that the ladybug sat on. So I'm going to go in with a really light shade, which is 118. So this is like a really bright light green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus this on this side here where the light would be hitting the leaf. So this is going to be like our highlight for the leaf. And I can bring that all the way down that edge. And then I'll do some here on this side as well. And then just sort of lift the pressure to blend that out. Next we're going to go in with 045, and this is a bit darker again, so I'm going to use light pressure and go over some of this lighter green that we've just added. And then as you come away you can start to add a bit more pressure and really darken that colour up. I'm going to do more pressure underneath the ladybird because I want this to be like a shadow where she is. Then I'm going to go back in with 118 and just blend this together. And then we're going to go in with 082, which was our darkest colour, and start adding some shade to this. So I'm just going to use light pressure and I'm just going to add a little bit of shade right up this edge here. And along the bottom. And then I'm just going to again use light pressure and just add a little bit of this darker colour here. Then going back in with 045, I'm going to go ahead and go over the top of this, so it will make it look like a darker green, but it will also blend it out a lot easier. So I'm just going in with normal pressure and going over all of that. Making sure we got no harsh lines. Okay, and then for this bit here, this would be in shadow. So I'm going to use 082 and I'm going to add a bit of shadow under here. So again, I'm just using light pressure, but just getting a bit of the colour down. Then I'm going to go in with 045 and I'm going to go over that so it makes it a little bit more greener. And then I'm just going to bring this colour down. And then I'm going to go back in with 082. I'm going to add some shade here where it meets this flower. So again, just light pressure and add a little bit of colour there. And then here, I'm going to darken up the bottom section of this one and bring it down into here. Take it right down to the bottom of the mushroom. And then I'm going to go back in with 045 and blend this all together. Okay, and then I'm going to continue this colour up this leaf and I'm going to focus it here by the mushroom so it's sort of darker on that side. And then down here, I'm going to go ahead and add some as well, so it's darker there. And then bring this up the right hand side. Then I'm going to go back in with 118, which was our lightest shade. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in this lighter section here so that we've got a bit of the lighter colour on this one as well. I'm just going to go back in with 082. I'm just going to fill this little bit in here darker so that the whole section's darker. And then I'm just going to add a little line here to this very edge just to darken that up ever so slightly. Then going back in with 082, I'm going to go ahead and add some light pressure here to darken this bit up because it would be in shadow underneath the mushroom. And then I'm just going to darken up the very bottom as well of this stem. And then I'm going to go back in with 045 and just go over that and fill that in completely. Okay guys, so this is how the picture's looking at the moment. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.